Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us on this Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you is right, Mr. Drew Brees, number 9. Woot, woot, woot. It is Friday. The weekend is upon us. Fired up about that. Gotta love that. Ready for the weekend, huh? Ready for the weekend. Hopefully we get a dry one when we're out doing what we want to do outside. And then if it rains from, midnight, 1 in the morning till 5 a.m., that's A-okay with me. I like the overnight rain. I sleep through that like it's amazing. You give me a nice quiet night, I might wake up a few times in the night. You give me like a thunderstorm and the wind blowing, I'm sleeping like it's nobody's business. I may need to get the green noise maker or the, you seen these commercials, the green noise, the brown noise, to make you sleep better. I saw a funny skit. They make a machine that's this little box that sends out different colors of light. So you plug it in when you're not at home. So intruders think your television set's on. It's like $39.95. And the guy's like, hey, man, for $39.95, you can buy an actual television set and leave it on for the criminals to come in the house and steal. Anyway, Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, just a reminder, drivers, on Friday, this law is for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, and weekends too. 7 days a week. Hey, Corporal, did you realize right on red while driving is legal? Yes, the corporal just went like this, poof, like brain explosion, implosion. The corporal just wiggled to the ground. He's a blob of jelly now. All bones and internal organs have poof, disappeared. Internal implosion. Just a blob of skin on the ground. The corporal's done. Got to put this show on autopilot. I just imploded his brain. Yeah, right on red is legal. Now, I was thinking about it today. I think that it's sort of like driving in the left lane. I think you have some folks that just are oblivious to the law and they're just clueless and they're driving in the left lane. Everything's great. Don't realize I'm backing up traffic, not letting anyone pass. But then you have like the belligerent driver, I think, Corporal, that just say, screw it. I'm in control. I'm going to go slow in the left lane and give you that like glance when you're passing. It's like, what's your problem? I don't know about you, Corporal. I look at my rear view. Someone's barreling up my rear end. I get over to the right. And guess what? In a matter of seconds, that's over with. That guy barreling up my rear end's blown by me and it's over with. Maybe he's an idiot driver. Maybe he's bleeding to death and trying to get to the hospital. I'm not here to judge or play lawman or be belligerent and control the road. I get out of the way. But some folks, I don't know. I think they're kind of belligerent. The right on red, I honestly thought it was just folks either know the law or don't. Now I think it is some folks know the law or don't. And then I think some folks know the law, but because they're belligerent in nature, they're like, right on red is the driver's choice. And it's true. It's like when you feel safe, you've stopped, you've looked to your left, it's no one's there, you can drive in there, but there might be traffic coming. So maybe you have to judge when you can pull into there. And then it can be a traffic light that's very trafficky in a usual commuting area. So people are more aggressive turning right on red than sort of a passive driver that may not be in such a, quote, hurry. But you still got to stop completely and turn right on red. But I think some folks stop and go, it's my choice. I'm choosing not to turn right on red, and I'm going to check out my phone. I'm going to check out my phone and go through emails or text somebody or just zone out. But I'm not turning right on red because it's a choice, and I'm choosing not to. It's like, well, it's kind of a choice like if traffic's coming or not. And if it's coming, you obviously don't turn right on red, you get in an accident. But when there's no traffic, you can turn right on red. And I got news for you. If it's like a 2 or 3 lane road, traffic coming in 2 or 3 lanes, and that inside lane is empty, you can turn right on red into that inside lane, and the folks in the middle or far lane aren't going to ram into you because they're in the middle or far lane. Wow. Earhart and Carrollton's always a doozy. I think folks just want to stare in the Popeyes and dream of the chicken of years gone by. I remember when Popeyes was good. Hey, right on red. Today I'm going down River Road, and that light by Oshner on River Road is totally unnecessary. I mean, it could be blinking yellow on River Road, like you just go through it, except for maybe like morning drive, afternoon drive for an hour or two. I guess you could turn it on about 10 seconds for the hospital and 50 seconds for River Road. I'm going through that light today, and there's someone coming out of the hospital in the right lane. Like, they can turn right on red, and they are just staring down at like the console, not even looking to the left to see when they can go in. I'm not saying like, drive hyper proactively, pedal to the metal, but sort of be proactive when driving, right? I mean, don't just disappear into your own world. If you kind of left the office and got home and didn't remember any of the ride, that's probably a problem, I would think. You got to remember something, huh? The truck that almost cut you off, the guy that did this, that's something about the commute, huh? Or you just vegged out and zoned out. Right on red is legal. FYI. Your driving tip du jour. Boy, Operation Clean House. We were talking about that. The official numbers are in. The FBI in New Orleans, 18 local law enforcement agencies in a 4-week, 2-phase operation. 4 weeks, 155 arrests, 54 firearms seized. In the first period, the first couple of weeks in June, from like the 3rd to the 14th, 74 arrests for gun and drug violations, 46 firearms seized, 39 narcotic seizures, 10 Glock switches seized, turning it into an automatic. Phase 2, June 17th through the 26th, 77 arrests for charges ranging from arson to attempted murder, 11 firearms seized. Just amazing. Incredible progress. Incredible progress. And the groups that were involved, it's a huge number. It's incredible. I'm just blown away by this. It was the FBI New Orleans. It was the NOPD. It was the Louisiana State Police. It was the U.S. Attorney's Office, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Drug Enforcement, DEA, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, Jefferson Parish Sheriffs, Orleans Parish Sheriffs, St. Bernard Parish, Tulane University Police, East Bank Levee Police, Harbor Police, Louisiana Attorney General's Office, Louisiana Division of Probation and Parole, St. Tammany Parish Sheriff, St. John the Baptist Sheriff. Wow. No, kicking butt and taking names. That's how you do it. This is how we do it. Click, clock, click, clock, click, clock, click, clock. This is how we do it. My next song is, it's getting rather warm in here. The preferred method of operation would be you removing all of your clothing. That's one of my hit songs. It's getting a little less than proper temperature. Seems to be in the mid-70s to high 80s inside of this facility. I recommend clothing removal. I think they shortened that to, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. These are deep lyrics. Deep, they're well thought out. It's life experiences. It's not some impulsive emotional stuff. There were no blunts involved. This is deep thinking. Deep thinking. Oh, boy. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. Corey Johnson with you. Did I mention it's Friday? I was by Young's Dry Cleaning's restoration department yesterday. That's where they do rugs and drapes and fine linens, anything fabric material or cloth. It could be water, mold, mildew, or even water damage. Don't throw it out, especially those precious items. Antique, Persian, Oriental rugs. Young's Restoration Department gets them like new again. YoungsDryCleaning.com, YoungsDryCleaning.com. Free pickup and delivery, too. And those drapes, they'll come over, take them down, get them back to clean, bring them back, rehang them. All you pay for is the cleaning job, the restoration job. YoungsDryCleaning.com. Now, I've brought many rugs and hall runners to Young's, taking care of business. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Don't move.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Did you check out the presidential debate debacle, whatever you want to call last night? 90 minutes of not so much fun. Pretty much going exactly as I predicted. Not like I was predicting anything that was, incredible. Trump's going to be caustic and Joe Biden's going to forget. That's exactly what went down. Essentially, this is like a recap of last night's debate. I invented the stars, the moon, the sun. I'm the one responsible for all that. President Biden, you have 30 seconds to respond. Stars, sun, moon made out of cheese. President Biden, you still have 25 seconds left. Moon made out of cheese. Medicare. You're a jerk. No, you're a jerk. That was the debate. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Oh, gosh. No, President Joe Biden just rambling, getting lost, dazed and confused, forgetting where he was, just slow, staring off into space. And then you see him today, like in Nashville or somewhere, and he's like animated and talking smoothly. So like the excuse making of, he has a cold. Maybe he did have a cold, but who cares? He sucked last night. He was awful. He was terrible. There's a lot of Democrats and liberals saying, step aside, Joe. Do the right thing and step aside. You can't do it anymore. Democrats. And trying to get another candidate in there. And then Donald Trump was the typical jerk that Donald Trump is. Just, talking crap, making stuff up. Must have said ever. That article said best ever, the greatest ever, the world's best ever. It was the best we've ever had. Ever, ever, ever. Jeez and Pete's. Must have said it 1,000 times. Biden's declining. Very noticeable. Trump, just same old caustic, foolishness. Fact checking is like, if there are 5 incorrect things, 4 of the 5 are Trump. One of them's Joe Biden. And you can get fact checking anywhere, conservative, liberal, and just find the topic and kind of add them all up and look. No, it's not. You don't worry about Joe Biden like saying crazy stuff like deliberately. You worry about Joe Biden saying crazy stuff because he doesn't know where he is right now at that moment. And then Donald Trump just says crazy stuff all the time. Best ever. I'm the greatest. Couldn't do it without me. If I wasn't here, the earth would implode. Just takes credit for everything. And then Joe Biden just can't keep up. There was a line last night. I'm laughing, and it's sad because this is a presidential debate. I swear, I want to slap myself. But Biden rambled off into some just incoherent sentence at the end. And got saved by like Jake Tapper or somebody. Like, your time's up. Just didn't know where he was. Totally lost. Had no clue what he was talking about. And Trump had a chance to find. Trump's right away goes, I have no idea what you just said in that last sentence. And I don't think you have any idea what you just said in that last sentence. Something to that effect. I mean, I laughed. It was kind of funny. I'm telling you, I mean, when it comes to politics and debating and all this, Donald Trump is king. I mean, he's tough to beat. No, the best, I guess, Biden quip from last night was what did Biden say that was good? I think I wrote it somewhere. Oh, boy, what was it? Yeah, Trump's quote was, I don't know what he said at the end of that last sentence, and I don't think he knows what he said at the end of the last sentence. And it was kind of true. And then Biden brought up Trump calling, fallen war heroes, that died like suckers and losers, and Trump denied it, and Biden was like, your own general said you said it to them. And then Biden did say, "You're a sucker, you're a loser," to Trump. But no, it was mostly Donald Trump just, being his usual self, mentally there, sharp, quick comebacks. If Trump would have simply just counter what Biden was saying, which is what he did, and then simply answer the questions that were asked, it would have been 100-0 score. But Trump didn't make it close, but he kept Biden in the game sort of by just talking too much and just lying, just making stuff up, just all that best ever. I'm the greatest. Wouldn't happen without me. This is because of me. We had the greatest. We had the greatest this, the best military, all this, just on and on and on. And when you fact check it, 90% of it's incorrect. It's almost like it's a sales job. And you want to go, hey, Trump, stop right there, man. The bashing Biden, what he just said, and then countering with what you just said, that's enough. We're sold. Now you got to go into all this stuff that you're responsible for. You created the moon, the sun, and the stars. You just got to stop. You sold us already. That's Trump's problem, going too far and then talking about I'm the greatest ever and I did all this and blah, 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 blah. Just counter what Biden was saying. You would have been the king of the world. And you already did win the debate. I don't think anyone's refuting that. And it's really by default because Biden did so poorly. But it would have been just a grand slam home run if there wouldn't have been so many fact check, erroneous, crazy comments that Donald Trump made. But no, Joe Biden was awful last night. I don't know how you do too much worse. Times where, just like I said, all week long going into this, is Joe Biden going to start talking and then all of a sudden get lost in the sense and thought and not realize what he's talking about and go off on another tangent, stumble, bumble, deer in a headlight look, and then say something that makes no sense at all? And he did that several times last night. Several times. I mean, almost as like Donald Trump. I almost think any other human being on the planet, just because Donald Trump lacks empathy 110%, maybe more than any other person. Any other human being could have been the most staunch Republican, would have been like, Joe, we're talking about Medicare, like would have like helped him get back on track. It was painful to watch at times. It was painful to watch, but sadly, no real surprises. Like Biden wasn't quick and sharp. Biden was slow and haggard and beat up and deer in the headlights and frustrated and couldn't keep it together and rambling and incoherent. And Trump was a little slow getting started, but then once he got started, he was regular Donald Trump. Anyway, debate number one, if it's 10 points are available, it was 9-1, 8-2. I mean, you'd have to be the 7-3 would be the biggest stretch possible. I think 8-2, something like that. If it's like 10 points are available, I don't know how to score it. You want to make it tennis? It's it was a 3-set win for Trump, and it was 6-love. 6-1, 6-1 or something like that. I don't know. Biden took a couple of games. Trump took 18. If it's basketball, it's 100-46. It's 120-46. If it's football, it was 48-7. If it was bowling, Trump bowled about 200, 225, and Biden rolled a 40, a 38. I don't know what to tell you, what sport or number to compare it to. I don't know how anyone anywhere except Jill Biden and a few other people thought. I don't think Donald Trump, Joe Biden thought he won last night. I mean, he said today, I'm a little slower. I'm not as fast as I used to be. I don't think as quickly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. He said all this today publicly. Still a little stumbling and bumbling through it, but 5 times better than last night. Hey, Baton Rouge, Helm Paint and Decorating has invaded the capital city for over 55 years in New Orleans, steering us in the right direction. 7 locations in New Orleans: East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Benjamin Moore Paint, free 2-hour delivery. When it's time to paint, you go to Helm Paint and Decorating. We've been doing it for over 5 decades. Baton Rouge, the pros are in the capital city. 4 Baton Rouge locations: Highland Road, Jones Creek Road, Perkins Road, Choctaw. Benjamin Moore Paint, free 2-hour delivery. I'm talking like West Baton Rouge, Port Allen, Bruley. I'm talking East Baton Rouge, Prairieville, even to Gonzales. Free 2-hour delivery. Helm Paint and Decorating now in Baton Rouge. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Jeff Landry's DEQ chief. Times-Picayune article, mercury emissions. The EPA is telling Louisiana to tighten up. Jeff Landry's DEQ chief wants to be more business friendly. The latest egregious polluter, Gramercy Italco, some alumina plant. Now, isn't that interesting? Like Jeff Landry and his department of DEQ, like, we have too many regulations in Louisiana. We're not business friendly enough. That's either true or Cancer Alley is true and the opposite is reality, where we just prostitute ourselves out. We let the chemical, gas, oil industry do whatever they want. And Jeff Landry saying, hey, let them do more. Hey, Michael Hecht's up next. Don't move.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is a typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. Or in Kansas. Yes, comma. You are correct. Idaho. Hi, how are you? New Orleans. Yeah, you right. Hey, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Speaking of, yeah, you're right. Speaking of New Orleans, part of the fabric of this city, part of us, Leidenheimer French bread. Are you kidding me? There's not a New Orleanian alive. Not a single New Orleanian alive that hasn't experienced Leidenheimer French bread. They've been around almost 130 years now, always baking that wonderful Leidenheimer French bread we all love. Right here in the city of New Orleans. Now they export that French bread baked in New Orleans to a few dozen states because everybody loves it. And I got a little secret for you. Get the big 3-4 foot loaf of Leidenheimer French bread at the grocery, even though you're like, it's just too long. We're not going to eat all of that. Slice up the rest, stick it in a Ziploc freezer bag, and throw it in the freezer. You can pull that Leidenheimer French bread out the freezer, throw it in the oven, and in about 6 or 8 minutes, you've got this piping hot French bread loaf that you think came out of the Leidenheimer ovens themselves. Literally, it's amazing. Leidenheimer French bread freezes like a champ. Leidenheimer French bread, the official French bread of New Orleans, Leidenheimer Baking Company. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right. Friday. Weekend's upon us. Did you check out the presidential debacle debate? I don't know what that was. Tough to watch, I'll tell you that. Some good news. Thank you, Corporal. From Greater New Orleans, Inc., Michael Hecht joins us on the program again. Pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps, getting out of the presidential debate talk, thank goodness, on a Friday. Michael, probably with some good economic news. What's up, Miguel?
Not much, KJ. Yeah, no, I'm keeping my eyes down on the ground here because I'm not liking what I saw when I looked up. So let's talk about New Orleans stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I like doing this for the next 7+ months, almost 8 months. When we check in with you, it's always about singles, doubles, triples, home runs, grand slams, some new economic news, something on the horizon. Love talking to you about that. But you're the point man for the Super Bowl for Governor Landry. What's the latest and greatest, Michael? I know you've got a punch list of 300 to 400 items you'd like to knock out, at least maybe 2/3 of them.
Yeah, well, the project list is actually 537 items as of a week ago. I have to check and see what it is. It's a lot. But we're going to tier them in 3 areas. We've got the hot spots, the things that have to get done. So you could put the French Quarter in that. Then we've got the top priority items like Poydras Street. And then you got the ones that, we're going to get to as many as we can, and the ones we don't get to will get done after. But we now have a process and a categorization of everything that needs to get done. So I don't think that we're going to stop just for the Super Bowl. And then we're going to be putting up a bunch of murals around town with local and some even international artists. And then, some of the big areas. We got to get the French Quarter cleaned up. We got to get the homeless encampment shut down. We're going to get new lights on the bridge, new lights on the expressway. I'm going to try to get Uber and Lyft to get rid of their surge pricing for the Super Bowl. So wish me luck. It's a whole bunch of things, but collectively, they're not going to just make the city look better for the game. They should look better, for long after, and hopefully give us a rhythm so that we know how to keep things looking good going forward.
Michael, this is just sort of simple, and I know I bring up just the general, hey, get every power washer in America. From the airport, down I-10, to the Dome, to the French Quarter, to the convention center, all of that needs to be power washed, the in and out areas. I mean, literally, the fencing along the interstate, the chain link fencing in Metairie, clear of weeds and debris, actually uniform, not collapsed in broken parts, a lot of things like that. The appearance stuff, we need a lot of power washing, and that seems like a kind of cheap, inexpensive fix to me. It's not millions of dollars. It's paying people, $10-15 an hour, giving them the equipment and having them out there power washing the roads, the railings, concrete, anything, anywhere to clean it all up.
Yeah, that's on the list, Corey. Part of, and the DOTD has it on their list. Part of the issue there is just timing. With the power washing, you obviously want to do that not too far in advance because it'll just get gunked up again. So that's the stuff that happens in kind of the December, January timeframe.
There you go. No, that's a good point. It'll get gunked up again. Yeah, you want it looking perfect. I sent you one about, you're always talking about this deferred maintenance. You're talking about things like that were done during the World's Fair. It's like a catch-22. It's like, okay, we hadn't fixed it in 40 years, but it was so well done 40 years ago. It lasted 4 decades.
Right.
The trees on St. Charles Avenue, the oak trees all over, pruning, grooming, getting arborists, checking out every tree and cutting out the right branches, not just you or I going, hey, Michael, saw that branch. And then termite control of these oak trees. This is a chance to really do all that. Maybe even, number the trees, put them in categories, whatever, list them, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's the guys that run Park and Parkways, Mike Karam and his team. They're awfully good. They're on it. I don't know what those specific plans are, but I have to ask them. I do know that there are a number of the parks they're working on right now. Duncan Plaza is going to be cleaned up. There's a Heritage Park by the Convention Center is getting redone. A lot of the neutral grounds, and then a lot of just the underpasses and such, like the gravel area opposite Home Depot is going to have grass put down. Then some fun stuff. We're talking about putting a screen, an LED screen around Plaza Tower. So that can be pretty dynamic. It's a whole bunch of different projects. Listen, Corey, if people want to give their input, we've got an email address, just superbowl@gnoinc.org, and you can send us, your suggestions or a problem area. And if it's a problem area or something else like that, then please just send us a snapshot as well from your camera.
Superbowl@gnoinc.org. Yeah, exactly. Shoot video, snap a photo of the pothole that you need the lunar rover to drive over, things like that. Send the photo and creative ideas too. If you come up with good ideas that, are a little off, kind of the norm, not a problem. Throw them out there. What's the worst that can happen? Michael rolls his eyes and crumbles it up and throws it in the garbage. Who cares?
No, man. I think this is, if you see, a sidewalk that needs to be repaired, then, send us a picture of your crack, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you're like, you can come up with like a creative idea, like you're talking about the LEDs around the Plaza Tower. Maybe it's something else, you know? I'm going to throw something out, Michael, just because you can move the needle on this. I think this is of vital importance. And I think this is such a really great idea for the halftime show for the Super Bowl. You know, you go back to like those late 60s, early 70s Super Bowls. What did you see? And the halftime show is like the Grambling Band, you know, old school, like from Grambling for the Super Bowl, you know, like recognized as one of the greatest marching bands in the world. And then it turned into Hollywood and all that. We are the music capital of the world, Michael. The Super Bowl show should be the field. And on the left side of the field, Grambling's band. On the right side of the field, Southern University's, you know, band, the Human Jukebox. The center, the setup like they would do for any Super Bowl, the dramatic staging, the lights, the pyrotechnics, whatever. But the people on that center stage, all New Orleans and Louisiana musicians. And as far as the Hollywood and the big names, we got them. You can put Lil Wayne out there. You can put Trombone Shorty. You can put John Baptiste. We got them. And then you can have stages with the Nevilles, the Baptiste, you know, the Marsalis, all those families of musicians, and little spotlights and little solos and little emphasis on this and that and the Nevilles. And I mean, it gives me goosebumps talking about it. And we're going to blow it and have Bruce Springsteen and, you know, Beyonce up there. And that would be a travesty. A travesty.
No, I agree. I got to find out what they're thinking about that. I don't know. And that's obviously above my pay grade. I mean, the good news is that we know that Justin Timberlake is not available.
Nope.
So, you know, the list is being whittled down.
Look, even though Johnson speaks up too much during the committee meetings and you don't want him on those anymore, nope, we're not doing that. And you got to go, that's Corey talking, interrupting. Have them call me for the halftime show because it needs to be Grambling and Southern and all the musicians and let Hollywood and them their production. We've got the big time names. We got the biggest names and we got enough of them, you know, to highlight that the nation and the world knows, but it should be exclusively a New Orleans experience.
Yeah, Corey Johnson 66@gmail.com. That's right, huh?
Well, it's a little different than that, but you're close. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. And you better know the spelling or your Scandinavian wife will slap you around like she should.
Like I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Only on my birthday.
Kaare. My brother's Bjorn, like Bjorn Borg, you know, blame the parents. What can I tell you? Hey, Miguel, hang on because I want to hit a few more Super Bowl topics and plus get some local wins economically that Greater New Orleans Inc. is helped out with, responsible for. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. New Orleans. Don't move. We're coming right Friday.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't. Square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I'll say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you. It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Every now and then something will slip on by. You saw that New York Times 22 of the best pizza places in the world. Pizza delicious, Bywater. It is delicious. I never had heard of Saint Pizza on Magazine, the newbie, but that's on the list. Michael, you saw that? New York Times 22 of the best pizza places in the world. I've said this for years. New Orleans, per capita, we hang with New York or Chicago with pizza. We hang with New York and Chicago with prime steakhouses.
Yeah, no, I think that pound for pound, there's no place in America that messes with us. You can find more expensive fine restaurants in New York. You can find great American cuisine in California. But dollar for dollar, up and down the scale, I think that we run the tables here, including in things like pizza. So the new St. X, yeah, that's right down there by Callio, by Merchant. And I haven't been inside yet, but it looks great.
Yep. Hey, Michael, wasn't that interesting what I sent you? Speaking, I've never heard of something. How about that Lake Charles company that paints the aircrafts, this landlocked aviation? I sent you the their website, Landlocked Aviation Services, aviation refinishing specialists. They paint planes and they do it out of the Lake Charles Airport. It's I think some Louisiana guys, some Texas guys that moved to Lake Charles. Just interesting. I'd never heard of Landlocked, and they're like a worldwide known company.
Yeah, I've never heard of them either, but that's a great business. It's called MRO, Maintenance and Repair Operation. And there's a ton of money in that, as you can imagine. I mean, these airplanes are big pieces of metal and take a beating. So,
yep.
No, I love hearing that. Did I send you about that new company, Heirloom, that's putting $500 million in up in Bossier Cata?
You talking about the carbon capture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing as well. Fill us in on that. $500 million.
Yeah, so this is a company that uses beds of limestone to capture carbon out of the air. And I said to the person who was telling me about it, I said, well, I get that, but capturing carbon out of the air, isn't that a bit like, I don't know, like they're trying to bail out the ocean? I mean, I get you can do it, but what's the point? And they said the point is that companies like Microsoft or Intel need to offset their data centers. So what they do is, if their data center is producing, 100 tons of carbon, then they go to a place like this and they ask the place to capture 100 tons of carbon from the atmosphere, and then they buy those credits, and then they can say that they're carbon neutral. So that's the whole game, and that's what this company is doing.
No, and it's getting the CO2 out of the air. It's global warming, all of that. You know what's interesting about this company, I think, Mike, I mean, the storing it in salt domes and that nature, like in South Louisiana, that's one thing. But basically turning it into building materials, like they're permanently locking it into concrete, for build. Exactly. That's just crazy in a good way.
No, it's crazy in a good way, yeah, because there's two things you can do. There's carbon capture, and carbon capture uses our geology to capture it down the layers of clay forever. But then there's carbon capture use, which is where you, for example, mix it and make new concrete.
Crazy.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. These scientists, guys, they're smart, Michael.
Well, science is like magic, except that it's real.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, New Orleans is 18th city in the country, and what?
Well, this is a thing called Resonance. It's a new ranking. It's an economic development group. It looks pretty thorough. They have us number 2 for culture, number 2 for food, something like number 17 for lovability, which is kind of like drinkability, but actually, like, I understand what it is. The only thing is that we're number 52 out of 100 in prosperity. So I was talking to somebody about this, and they said, yeah, we're really good on all those rankings. Imagine if we could then pair that with being really good in prosperity. We would instantly be, not number 19, but we'd be top 10, maybe even top 5. But still, a nice ranking. You can go and find it at worldsbestcities.com.
Nice. Worldsbestcities.com. Hey, any singles, doubles, triples, home runs, grand slams on the horizon?
We've got a discussion tomorrow with a company that if it comes in would be, I guess you call it a grand slam. I mean, a $1 billion kind of new technology company. So, but that's all I can say right now. But that's on the horizon, looking pretty good.
That's like hundreds of jobs created?
Yeah, it'd be that kind of thing. What you would call a 2 or 3 run home run.
No, we need it.
Or a grand slam.
We need it.
But otherwise, no, really the Super Bowl is kind of what we're focusing a lot on right now. And the new rejuvenated Louisiana economic development.
Did I mention my halftime show idea? All Louisiana, Grambling, Southern, all our great musicians have the Hollywood people produce it, but no one from out of the state. Did I mention that, Michael?
I love that idea, man. I think it's a must-do.
It is a must-do. It would be sinful to have Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen on the stage. We've got the stars that the world knows, and then we've got everybody else.
Beyonce kind of is semi-credibility here, right?
I love Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen, but that's any Super Bowl, anytime, anywhere. Let's do something special, old school Southern and Grambling, have the Hollywood people produce it so everyone relates. And we've got the stars. We've got the intermediate stars. We've got more musicians that we know what to do with. It's ridiculous. Let's highlight all these families and, make it like just Austin and Nashville can say whatever they like. We're going to prove to the world what really is. Anyway.
I'm working on it.
Yep, I know. Yeah. You're juggling, Michael. The pins are on fire and you're riding a unicycle and you're approaching a tightrope that you have to ride the unicycle across.
And all that's good because I don't know how to do any of those things.
No, what a buddy of mine used to say, what do you know about that? And he goes, more than they do. That's what he'd say. True. More than they do.
Don't have to be faster than the lion, just faster.
Just a little faster than Blue Boy, and you'll get to the food. Michael, always a pleasure, brother. Have a good weekend.
appreciate it.
That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. We do that every Friday. That's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant that is hiring. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled Laitram, latrim.com. Don't move.
Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Yes. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. The weekend is upon us. Plus, it's a little bit after 5 p.m. on a Friday. You gotta love that. But first, to La Jolla. And number 9, Drew Brees, former Saints quarterback, first ballot Hall of Famer. Take it away, Mr. Small Sliders himself. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana, United States, Western Hemisphere, planet Earth, Milky Way galaxy, yep. Zip code 70124. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I was saying a little bit after 5 o'clock. That means L work week in the books. L weekend. La weekend. It's a latey. La weekend smack dab in front of us. We celebrate this very moment right now, this little limbo period. Work week done, weekend just beginning. We celebrate it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We celebrate it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. Yeah, you right, 5 o'clock whistle. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now, getting your weekend started in style? Get a few cocktails at the bar and sit down at a table and enjoy some great tastes of New Orleans, from po' boys to seafood platters and pizza, great pizza oven, great dough, fresh, great ingredients. Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets. Mid-City, Iberville, corner Tallahassee. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? 5 o'clock whistle on a Friday, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Michael Hecht joined us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. 5 o'clock powwow of Fantasy Friday. Frank Brigtsen's going to join us in a few minutes. James Beard award-winning chef, chef extraordinaire, restaurateur, owner, operator, head chef of his restaurant, Brigtsen's, in the Riverbend for nearly 40 years, 38 years. That's unbelievable. Take advantage of it. I mean, they're not going to be around forever. I think in a decade from now, there won't be a Brigtsen's, or Frank and his wife won't be involved. You know, they sold it or closed it or whatever. They're 38 years into this. Frank's older than me. Frank's in his 60s. You know, Marn and her sisters, they don't look it. They got to be 50 plus. So they're not going to be around in 10 years doing this. They'll be around, just not doing Brigtsen's. Got to take advantage of these. Bayona, Susan Spicer and Bayona, they've been around for 35 years or so. You got to go to these restaurants. Irene's in the quarter. Irene is 70 years old. She's been at it for a long time. Her brothers, Roland and Fausto from Fausto, they sold Fausto's. It's not Roland and Fausto's anymore. It's Fausto's, but Roland and Fausto's name off the sign. Because Fausto's like 70, Roland's 60-something. They're, you know, take advantage of these places that have been around a long time that are still the best New Orleans has to offer, because you never know. Just out of the blue, Paul Prudhomme closing down, shutting it down, just whatever. You never know what's going to close, when they're going to close. And they're great restaurants that are kicking butt and taking names, and you're like, how are they closing? And they shut down. So take advantage of these places like Brigsten's. Frank Brigsten's. And I'm not, boy, Corey must know something. Brigsten's is closed. Not at all. I know absolutely nothing. Frank has not talked to me. I've not talked to Frank about you've been at it 38 years, Frank, plus probably another 15 in the restaurant business. You thinking about closing soon? Never brought it up. It's just kind of just being, smart about it. They're getting up in age, been there 38 years. I would take advantage of these great places. Frank Brigsten just a few minutes away, as always, on a Fantasy Friday. I love getting Frank on and Michael Hecht. Last night, presidential debate or debacle. Pretty much going as planned. You were just hoping it wouldn't go as you thought it would. You were hoping Trump would be a little more civilized, and you were hoping Joe Biden would be at the debate, mentally at the debate. Instead, it went pretty much as I predicted all week long. Not that it was any kind of genius or, boy, Corey with that, long shot prediction. No, it was the obvious prediction. Trump's going to be the usual jerk self that he is. And Joe Biden most likely is going to start rumbling, bumbling, fumbling, getting lost, dazed and confused, deer in a headlight look. And that was exactly it. It was painful to watch. As just a neutral observer, if you're like, hey, I don't even know who I'm voting for. I know who I'm voting for, but, I'm not really, too locked into either. It was hard to watch. Joe Biden just struggling and suffering and lost, and these weird stares, and everything I thought that could happen went down exactly as I thought with Joe Biden. And Trump didn't disappoint, being the usual caustic, egomaniacal Donald Trump. Must have said ever, 1,000 times. Greatest ever. We're the only person that ever's done it. Everybody said it was the greatest ever. Just read an article the other day. Ever, the best ever. Just can't help himself, Like I said last hour, he invented the moon, the stars, and the sun. And then Joe Biden got to comment and just said, moon made of cheese. It was that bad. It was that bad. Trump had a line that it wasn't just some like BS line that, didn't make any sense, or he was just, doing his usual where he just makes stuff up or lies or said he's responsible for it. Joe Biden said something where he just rambled on, had no idea what he was saying, got totally lost, just stopped talking, just staring straight ahead, lost, sad. And Donald Trump said, I don't know what he said at the end of that last sentence, and I don't think he knows what he said at the end of the last sentence. And Trump didn't like smile or think it was like a quick line. He said it like seriously, and it was true. I had no idea what Joe Biden said at the end of that last sentence. Neither did Biden. No, that was a good quip. Biden didn't have many. He said, you're a sucker, you're a loser to Trump when he denied that he called war heroes and those that have died in war suckers and losers. Last hour, I was like trying to compare it to a sport. If it's football, it was 48-7 Trump. If it was basketball, it was 100-36. If it was baseball, it was 15-2. Bowling, Trump bowled a 225, Biden bowled a 38. I don't know what to tell you. Biden got destroyed last night. About 50% of it was Donald Trump, and about 50% of it was Joe Biden just being pathetic, just showing the worst of his age and slowness. And because today's in Nashville, and he's like a totally different person today. So maybe he did have a cold. When that was announced in the middle of the debate, I'm like, God, just hyper left media, excuse making. But then you see Biden today, and you're like, man, maybe he did have a cold last night. But that doesn't matter. The game was last night. He got his butt handed to him. Period. End of story. Cold, did better today, all that. Doesn't matter. The latest polls show it, by the way. It is a Leger poll, I think is how you pronounced it. Leger. Before the debate, Biden 43%, Trump 41%. After the debate, Biden 42%, went down 1 point. Trump 50%. Trump went up 9 points. So these and the percentage increased. The pre-debate was 43-41. That's 84%. 16%, no opinion, no comment, undecided. It goes 50 to 42 up to 90%, 92%. So that 16% undecided, didn't comment, no comment, is now 8. Like half of the undecided voters are now going with Trump. Biden didn't lose too much. Biden was at 43. Biden went down to 42. So like I said before the debate, the Biden folks are voting for Biden no matter what happens. The Trump folks are voting for Trump no matter what happens. The undecided, they decide this election. It's a virtual tie. 43 Biden, 41 Trump, pre-debate, virtual tie. Margin of error, 3.5%, 4%, so it's a virtual tie. Biden's number stays pretty much the same, went from 43 to 42. Trump went from 41 to 50%. By the way, 49% of folks polled said Trump won the debate. 17% said Biden.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The weekend's upon us. Saturday is a big car buying day. End of the month, they're trying to get rid of those vehicles because I don't know if you knew this or not. Every car dealership, every car on the lot has an individual loan on that actual car. They don't Ronnie Lamarck doesn't borrow $1 million and buy a bunch of cars. Every car dealer basically borrows, and every car, they're paying interest every month on the vehicle. The more it stays on the lot, the more interest they pay. So at the end of the month, all dealerships are motivated to move vehicles. And then you have incentives. Hey, Ronnie, you sell 100 F-150s this month. We're going to give you $100 back or $500 back on every one. So it could mean thousands and thousands of dollars for the dealership for them to move a few more vehicles. You're looking for an F-150? You're looking for a Ford vehicle, SUV, Mustang? You're looking for a black label Lincoln SUV? The Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner's got you covered. On the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kenner. Right on the corner, right on the price. You need a Ford commercial truck? Head on across the parish to Jefferson Highway. Crescent City Ford in Elmwood, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Yeah, end of the month, tomorrow's Saturday. Go get that vehicle from Lamarck. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 5 o'clock power hour on a Friday. Yeah, you're right. We're heading to Uptown, the Riverbend section of the Carrollton neighborhood, about a block and a half from where St. Charles Avenue and Carrollton meet. We're heading to Dante Street. 38 years serving some of the best food anywhere. Frank Brigsten joins us from his restaurant, Brigtsen's. Yeah, you right, Frank.
TGIF, where you at, Corey?
Thank goodness it's Friday. You're right, Frank. Where you at, man? Enjoying summertime? What's going on over at Brigtsen's?
Well, the word of the day is peaches.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, we're having a great year for peaches. Every year is different, Sometimes they're sweet, sometimes they're not. This year they're all sweet.
Now you're implementing them in salad and dessert, or do you fit them into an entree too?
Well, they are very versatile. But the first thing I do with them is peach bread pudding.
Wow.
I have a terrific recipe for that, I got to tell you. And it's there's a lot of peaches in it. There's 3 different ways the peaches are incorporated into the bread pudding. And it's light and fluffy and juicy. And it's served with hot damn sauce, where I take some sliced peaches and I cook them down and flambe them with hot cinnamon schnapps. And it's an unusual dish, but boy, does it work. And this thing is selling like hotcakes, as it should. And so we should have this for a couple of weeks, I guess.
I want to mention we are closed next week for our summer vacation, but we'll be back on Tuesday, July 9th.
Okay. All right. Closed all of next week, Tuesday through Saturday. So tonight, tomorrow night, and then a week from next Tuesday, you reopen.
That's correct. We'll give everybody a little break.
Hey, Frank, 2 questions. One, what made you think to use the schnapps with the peaches? And second question, what did you think was a fantastic idea? And then when you did it, you were like, this is terrible.
Yeah, I guess I've had a couple of those too. But
yeah, I mean, you're experimenting all the time, I'm guessing, you know, and I'm sure a lot of the stuff you do is good, but you're like, it's good or it's very good, but it's not Brigsten's excellent, so we're not doing it.
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, I'm currently working on my culinary menu for August, and put some new ideas in there, but I got to test them tomorrow and during my time off. I'm going to be testing a few recipes. I'm very excited about that. But the idea for the cinnamon schnapps goes back to probably 1981. Took a trip with Chef Paul Prudhomme. We went up to Pittsburgh to make a presentation to Uncle Ben's Rice. I guess they were having a conversation about maybe collaborating or something. So we put out a whole menu of rice dishes. And for dessert, Chef had this really wild idea. He had me put a pot of cream on the stove, quite a large pot of cream, and added a few boxes of Red Hots. You know, those cinnamon candies?
Yeah.
Yeah, which are made with cinnamon oil. And I melted them in there. It turned bright pink.
Jeez.
And he had me poach peaches in there, peach halves. And then took the peaches out and reduced the cream until it was thick like a sauce. And we served just like that in a bowl. And it was so weird and unusual. And the flavors really worked. I don't know where he got that crazy idea, but the flavors worked. And, you know, 25 years later, when I was developing my peach bread pudding, I remembered that. And so I knew about hot damn cinnamon schnapps from my sister-in-law, Sandy. And I decided to give it a try, and man, does it work. So we flambéed the peach slices with hot damn cinnamon schnapps, and then when they're very soft, I put them in the food processor and puree them and add coconut milk and a little touch of lime juice to make the sauce. And so it's this smooth, bright, peach orange color. And man, it is a knockout.
What about an experiment that didn't go so well? I still want to get a bunch of bags of Oreos and scoop out the double stuff, put it in a black skillet and melt it down and fry chicken in it and see how it comes out.
All right, good luck with that. Call me when it's ready.
How about I'll call you after I try it and see if it's edible?
Well, I tell you, my flops usually happened on New Year's Eve. You know, when we were open for New Year's Eve, I always made a special menu, and I always tried to outdo myself. And it seems like every year I had a dish that I called culinary suicide. And I remember one year, for instance, this is back in the days when I had no deep fryer whatsoever. I have a small one now, but I had no deep fryer. So this had to be done in a skillet on the stove. And so I made, it was blue cheese, caramelized onions, and walnut croquettes. And I had to fry 2 of them for each steak that I sold. So you gotta get an order for 8 steaks. I got to pan fry 16 of these things. And they all just fell apart. It was a disaster. You know, it just happens.
Yep. No, I figured as much because it's failure more than success, I would imagine. Not maybe that extreme, but where it's not up to par, where you got to keep tweaking it to get it right.
Well, yeah, and a lesson I learned over the years, Corey, is that, it was a special menu. It's a little more pricey than normal, and I wanted to stretch myself creatively and go out of my way to make it special. But I came to realize that the guests, even our regulars, they don't know what we put into a dish as long as it's good.
Yep.
And so then I realized it's better to go with things that we know work and make service smooth and, no hassle, no problems.
Frank Brigtsen's with us. Hey, Frank, I mentioned my silly idea of the Oreos because it's like lard and full of sugar. I was like, that might make good fried chicken, make the grease out of that. What do you think of like the Dr. Pepper Coke used when like in a pan barbecue, like doing a chicken on the grill, or the beer can chicken, those kind of gimmicks? Any of them good, and are they worthless?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think the beer can chicken is a really good idea. The chicken is such an unusual shape. If you want to barbecue a whole chicken, you need a rotisserie.
Yep.
Or some kind of, MacGyver device like that. And to me, it makes great sense. It really does. Just like the brick chicken. Those are brilliant, and they really do work. And, I like the idea. I've never done it, but making, you can make a Barks root beer sauce, glaze, Dr. Pepper glaze, because they have such unusual flavors. And when you cook them down and reduce them and get kind of a reduction or syrupy consistency, like in a Barks root beer, that's got to be good.
I've seen the like steak covered in rock salt grill, those kind of things.
Yeah, well, there's an old Jamie Shannon, the late Jamie Shannon used to do that at Commander's. He did a salt-baked whole redfish. And, the idea is you just pack this thing in salt and put it in the oven, and the kosher salt forms a crust, and the fish kind of steams inside.
Yeah.
And then, you present it to the table like it is, and then crack that salt crust, and it's a tremendous presentation, dramatic. And the fish is, it's got to be good.
Yep.
It's cooked in its own juices, and, those things, they're interesting and fun to try if you're ambitious, I'm all for it.
Frank, you were mentioning a few weeks ago about those young students and the creative things they came up with, and you're a traditional chef and their stuff's different, yet you fully respected it and appreciated it. I would imagine you have the opposite view when you see the $1,000 Las Vegas steak served in a briefcase kind of thing. That stuff as a chef must drive you crazy.
It does. That's just gimmicks.
The total gimmicks. Pathetic.
That's all it is,
It's sad. Probably not even a good steak.
Yeah, I don't need gold leaf on any of my food.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's just gimmicks. I want to see cooking ability. What can you do to make food flavorful and delicious with proper techniques or inventive techniques even. So that's more impressive to me than all the flash and whiz bang stuff.
Yep. Speaking of, somebody walks into Brigtsen's tonight. What should they be eating? Start, middle, end. Give us a appetizer or a salad, an entree, and a dessert. Frank, what should someone be grabbing if they walk into Brigtsen's tonight?
Well, we're well in the summer right now, and to me, the best cold appetizer to start a Creole dinner is shrimp remoulade. It's cold, but it's a spicy, assertive sort of sauce that wakes up the palate. And, of course, everybody loves shrimp. So we're getting beautiful white shrimp from the shrimp lot on the West Bank, which we go every day. My kitchen manager now boils and peels them in the morning, and we serve those with guacamole, deviled eggs, remoulade sauce, and a slice of watermelon radish on top, a purple radish, because it's horseradish in the sauce, so it goes together well. There's a little crunch.
Yeah.
But it's a great. Somebody commented the other day, Corey, our guest, he was finishing his remoulade, and he said, "Frank, this is not shrimp remoulade. This is way beyond shrimp remoulade." And I really love that compliment because he appreciated, taking a very familiar Creole dish, shrimp remoulade, and formatted it into a different context that worked. The richness of the guacamole and deviled eggs with the acidic, assertive remoulade sauce, it just pairs so well.
Now, there's nothing on your menu, and I don't know many restaurants that have anything cold for an entree, right?
Right. And I think, remoulade is a kind of dish, or something like a crab meat ravigote, or a cold crab meat appetizer.
Yeah, out the refrigerator cold, right?
Right. And that's the way to start a meal in the summertime. It makes sense.
Yep.
And for entree, I would probably go with we have flounder, beautiful flounder fillets, meuniere with roasted pecans.
Yummy.
Can sound like hotcakes.
It's my favorite.
And it's something that's, it's a Brigsten's tradition. And I was training a new chef on sauté last night, and explained to him my meuniere, and it is my meuniere. I mean, it's my version of a classic French dish, incorporated with all the great meunières that I've had over the years at Commanders, at Cape Hall.
Well, what's the traditional one that we're used to that's high quality? What is the ingredients, that makes up that? And then what's yours?
Right. So the classic French meuniere, which you'll still find at some of the old Creole restaurants like Antoine's, Galatoire's, the classic French fish à la meuniere is a fillet of fish that's dusted in flour, sautéed in clarified butter. When it's done, you take the fish out, discard the clarified butter, then you add whole butter. Now, in the pan will be little brown bits of flour from the fish.
Yep.
That's meuniere, that nutty flavor from the brown flour. And then you brown the butter, deep, dark brown, and quickly add parsley and lemon and right over the fish.
Wow.
So the meuniere flavor comes from the brown flour and the brown butter. Has a very nutty flavor, and it's very delicious. A la meuniere means in the style of the miller's wife. The miller being the guy who mills the flour in the village. So that brown flour is essential.
And Frank, the amandine is roasted or toasted almonds on top, and then the meuniere on top of that?
Yeah, the same thing.
Yep, but with almonds.
When you're making meuniere, just at the end, you drop in toasted sliced almonds.
And you localize it. Paul Prudhomme started this at Commanders with the pecans. Yeah. Why not use a local nut? And I would argue it's better than amandine.
Yeah, he did do that. It's one of the first changes he made over there. And my first day on the job at Commander's Palace in 1978, one of the chefs handed me a plate with a plate cover on it, said, "Here, Frank, eat this."
Wow.
And I didn't know if it was like, I got to sneak around and do this or what. So I went in the corner and popped the lid, and it was a trout pecan, Chef Paul style. And, oh, my God, it was the best thing I ever had in my life. It was so delicious. So mine is incorporation of all that stuff, all the memories, all the flavors, all the techniques, combined into my version of it, which is starts with the brown butter, roasted pecans, green onions, garlic, seasonings, and I finish it with crab stock, lemon, lead herrings, and then emulsify with butter. So I get the benefits of the original technique, but instead of a roux-based sauce, for instance, like we did at Commanders and Cape Halls, it's made à la minute, to the minute, with emulsification of the butter.
Now, am I wrong saying yours is thinner meuniere and like the Commanders is more kind of waxy and thicker?
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, by emulsifying with the stock and butter at the end, we get a creamy consistency, but I wouldn't call it thick.
Yep, exactly. I would say this, New Orleans, and I mean this. I'm trying to be fair and objective. I'm not trying to appease Frank. The local fish, almondine, it's flounder, sometimes it's speckled trout. There's maybe a fish dish somewhere that's as good, but I don't think there's a better fish dish. Like, it's as good as any fish entree you'll eat anywhere in the world. I really believe that. It's that good.
Thank you, and I agree. But I think it's important that I have that dish on the menu, because it represents Creole culture as it's evolved over 300 years. It represents my career and the way I view Creole food. And I will be the one to make the beignet. I'll be happy to do that. I never get tired of it. I've done, 150,000 of them. And I'll still go in there tonight and make some more.
Yep. Yeah, one skillet at a time, right?
Yep.
Frank, I'm getting texts from Marna and her sisters. Let the hostage go already. We've got work to do.
I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Marna and I are going to have a staycation. We're going to go enjoy some new restaurants that we haven't tried.
Nice.
Some restaurants that we haven't been to in a while. We're going to eat, hang around, try and find some shows to see, go see some art at the museums, and just have a nice vacation. So we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
You're the man, Frank. Have a great weekend and have a great week off. Talk to you in 2 weeks.
We love you, New Orleans.
Here goes Frank Brigsten, cooking tonight at his restaurant in the Riverbend, tomorrow night too. Then next Tuesday through Friday, they're usual. They take the week off after the 4th every year, and then they'll be back a week from Tuesday. But you might be able to slip in tonight or tomorrow night. 861-7610 is the phone number at Brigtsen's. 861-7610. Put that in your phone and get a reservation at Brigtsen's. So good. You know what I do? I mean, I'll call and get a reservation at Brigtsen's. And sometimes, I'll be going to my usual spot that always has a table for me, kind of a regular restaurant. It's solid. It's good. They know me. I go there all the time. If I'm going to the usual spot, before I walk out the door, sometimes I'll call Brigtsen's, even on a Friday or Saturday. Any cancellations? And about 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 times, they're like, yeah, come on in. We got a table for you. Or someone ate quickly and left, or someone canceled last minute or didn't show up. No, and then I'm going there instead of the usual spot. 861-7610. Put that number in your phone, Brigtsen's. Love having Frank Brigsten on the program. I mean, all week we grind. We're hitting the tough topics, talk about the debate all week. It could be LaToya the Destroyer, Jeff Landry. New Orleans is like New York, Chicago, LA as far as political and news. It's just always topics, I joke with Ed Michel, the IG, and Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Will always have a gig in this city, always have a job. So we do that Monday through Thursday, even some on Friday. So it's nice to kind of get Michael Hecht on from Greater New Orleans Inc. It's great to get Frank Brigsten on. We're just talking food, on a Friday. Speaking of, you on the Causeway right now, heading to the North Shore? Fire in that to-go order from Trey Yen. Curbside delivery. You pull right in front. They walk it out to your car. Credit card machine in hand or pay with cash, however you want. Trey Yen's taking care of you in Mandeville. Or maybe you'd like to dine in. Critically acclaimed, nationally recognized, one of the top Chinese restaurants in America. They're at the foot of the Causeway in Mandeville. Convenient for you North Shore folks, and just 25 short minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center to the front door of Trey Yen. As good as it gets. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLA AC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLA AC.com, your cool spot.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated, Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
What's your name? Putting in things.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock powwow at 2. I don't know what that was last night. It wasn't a presidential debate. It was a presidential debacle. Not like the prediction was some kind of genius or anything real intuitive or thoughtful. It was obvious. And the obvious is what we saw last night. President Joe Biden rambling, forgetting, getting lost, dazed and confused, deer in a headlight look. It wasn't pretty. And then the jerk, Donald Trump, doing his usual stuff, the former president, thinking and talking crap, making stuff up, must have said ever 1,000 times. Greatest ever, the best ever. Military was the best on us ever. If so, that article the other day said ever in the history of America, ever. Just over and over and over and over. Biden's fallback, I think, was by the way, and then he would add something. By the way. The highlight, I guess, of last night, and you could be the biggest Biden supporter, you could hate Trump, but I think this quote was right on the money. Biden was answering a question, got lost in the middle, started stumbling and stammering and stopping completely, staring like a deer at the headlights, totally lost, didn't know what he was talking about, started rambling on about something else, just totally lost. And then he was out of time, and Trump's response was, I don't know what he said at the end of that last sentence, and I don't think he knows what he said at the end of that last sentence. And I mean, I chuckled out loud. It's true. I mean, it's true. No, exactly going down as predicted, as just about everybody thought. Biden's going to struggle mentally, and Trump's going to be his usual caustic self, and that's it. That was last night's debate. There is a poll out from the debate. There is a poll out already. Leger national poll, pre-debate. Virtual tie. Joe Biden, 43%. Donald Trump, 41%. Post-debate, Trump goes from 41 to 50. And Biden goes from 43 to 42. I told you before the debate, the Biden folks are locked and loaded. Nothing that can go down in the debate will change that. The Trump folks are locked and loaded. Nothing that can go down during the debate can change that. There's maybe 10, 12, 15% tops undecided. They're going to decide the election. Joe Biden's numbers remain the same. 43% going in, goes down to 42%, virtually the same. Donald Trump's numbers go from 41% to 50. To 41% to 50. And then think about this, the pre-debate numbers, Biden 43, Trump 41, that adds up to 84%. So there's 16% of the people in that poll that undecided, no comment, didn't want to say anything. Post-debate, Trump 50, Biden 42. That adds up to 92%. Only 8% now that undecided, didn't want to comment, whatever. So Biden didn't move, basically. Donald Trump went up 9 points after the debate. So I think some of those on the fence undecided are going with Trump now and not Joe Biden. And I think there's some Biden folks that aren't going to vote for Donald Trump, but now they're not going to vote for Joe Biden. And here's the crazy part. If you heard Biden today in Nashville, a totally different person. So like during the debate, on news media, on social media, Biden supposedly has a cold. He had a cold all day, like already excuse making. Now I'm like, maybe he did have a cold because today in Nashville compared to yesterday, it's night and day. But that doesn't matter. 1%, 5% of the population seeing the Nashville stuff compared to last night, what they saw. And also the game was last night. And Trump skunked Joe Biden. Like in football, I said it was 48-7. 48-7. Hey, every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. River City's Total Maintenance. That's fair and honest. Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts. No one knows it better. And most importantly, they come immediately with that honesty and that expertise. They get your system running right now, this afternoon, tonight. The 4th of July weekend's coming up next week. Even on the 4th of July, you need AC help, NOLAAC.com. If your AC is not working right, NOLAAC.com. If your air conditioning's not working at all, you need AC help, NOLAAC.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right. Lebanon's Cafe open till 9:30 tonight. Open till 9:30 7 days a week. Lebanon's Cafe, some of the finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans, shish kebab, lamb chops. They open at 11 a.m. They roll straight through the day till 9:30 7 days a week. Go experience it. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette in Uptown. Debate or debacle? We'll talk more about that next week. Jeff Landry's DEQ chief said Louisiana needs to be more business friendly. Cancer Alley says differently. We'll talk about that next week as well. What, Blue Boy? Thank Michael Hecht. Thank Frank Brigsten. Thank the Corporal for running the controls. And most importantly, thank you for watching and listening. Blue Boy, you're right. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. See you Monday, straight up 4 o'clock. Be there. 4th of July week. Wow.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.